What you're witnessing is a Dakota in its natural habitat on jack stands. What's going on, guys? Curtis, that Turbo Dakota. Yeah, I know it's been a while. Just hear me out. Mostly life things. Life things for the most part. I did get this thing out, and I was driving around a little bit. We attempted to put it on the dyno. So if you see my short, we put on the dyno. We're still kind of struggling with the dyno. Not on everything. It's automatic cars, especially the truck. With the automatic and the turbo and a converter, we definitely have some things to figure out. So that's why you really didn't see a video on it. But yeah, so besides that, had it out running for a little while. And actually what happened was I noticed exhaust leak. So there was an exhaust leak. It was in the turbo manifold. I pulled the manifold off, and it was in a less than ideal spot. In fact, let me show you. I'm going to walk over and flip this thing around. So this is the manifold that's been on that truck. I'll sit it here on the ground. And it's been probably 8 or 9 years. It came out of that place from Washington State, Turbo Technology. And it's been great. Basically what happened was it developed a leak inside the tubes, like in between, that was cracked. It was leaking from the center. So what I actually did is, this actually right here is me. I actually made a cut. I cut the thing, tried to fix it from the inside, and welded it back together. And it was okay for a while, and then I was driving it around, and the next thing it developed a crack here, and it developed a crack on that side. And actually what I found out was, when I cut it and welded it and tried to fix it, I warped this flange. It like pulled it, and then it was putting a bunch of pressure on the last and the first tube, cracked it, tried to run it across the sander so you can see like the flange looks kind of thin. Ran across my sander, got it pretty close, but couldn't get close enough. Actually ended up cutting it there to relieve the pressure. It helped out immensely, but I started thinking, I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work. Like, this thing's been 9 years, it's stainless, it expands and contracts a ton. So I reached out to the place that made that thing. I reached out to them, asked them, told them, hey, I've had this thing forever. The truck's been pretty quick on it. Arguably the fastest stock bottom-in truck. And asked them, hey, can you make me another one? You still make them? Yeah, we still make them. They gave me a price, and then a week, some emails back and forth. They said, it's going to actually, we decided it's going to be a little bit more than we thought. And it was, they quoted me somewhere around like $1,300. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money, especially considering there's going to be a point in time where that motor goes away, and we haven't even talked about it yet, but I actually have another motor for the thing. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I should do it. But to be honest, I'm not quite done with the setup. I'd really like to see if we could dip into the 9s, if not a 10.0, especially with the different head gaskets on it to help to try to kind of keep a head gasket in it. But like I said, this is all kind of test purposes. So anyway, so they wanted $1,300, and then there's another company that I saw called Stainless Headers. And they actually offer a fabrication service. So, and that's what you saw me pull the header out of that box right there on the ground. So that was the old header. So I sent that old header to them, and for the same exact price, they built me one. Not only did they build it, so I actually bolted it in here, mocked it up. It looks like it's going to fit fine. The only difference is where the crossover pipe comes in at the bottom. I sent them a Vibrant V brand. Vibrant makes some of the best fabrication stuff, even for someone like me that's not, a beginner to moderate level. One thing I've learned is you get what you pay for. So the problem with that is that V-band, the second half of it in the crossover pipe, it's not going to line up. Like, the old stuff's not going to line up with the new manifold, so it means I'm going to have to make half of that. So I bolted it on, and it looks pretty nice. The only change I had to make was this, where it goes from all four up into the T4 flange. On the original one right here, see my Crocs, this is actually 2.5 inch. So on the new one, I actually asked him, and he did a 3-inch radius. So I don't know if, it probably won't even matter, but I kind of figure for back pressure reasons, if we could do it, which he did. So it's got a 3-inch radius in it. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. But what I think I'm going to do actually is, for now, I'm going to attempt to put that back on it, and I'm just going to see how long the thing lasts. If it lasts, it lasts. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I drive it for a little bit and it cracks again, then we'll go ahead and put the new one back on, but at least I know I have it if I need it. Another thing I did while I was apart is I retorqued the heads with the head studs with the gasket. It appeared, and I'm not 100% sure, that they might be seeping just a little bit. Again, hard to tell, but I kind of figured since it was all apart, might as well run the torque wrench back across all the studs. I actually put the valve cover on backwards, so I gotta flip it. But that's kind of where we stand right now. That's this update for you guys. That's pretty much it. It kind of stinks as we haven't hit a testing tune all year. And I don't know if I talked about this yet. I did upgrade the ignition coil. That thing is massive. So we had a blaster coil on it, and it seemed to have corrosion around the post, and I wasn't too sure about it. So I figured, let's upgrade the coil. This one is massive. That's that HVC2, which is compatible with the 6A box. Huge. Actually had to modify the mount to put it in. The thing is absolutely massive. Oh, and one other thing. Got a better catch can. Had an eBay catch can forever over there on the shelf. And we got a nice motion piece that I really, really like. So I think at some point, too, I might actually consider doing one of the radiator. Like, I made this. This is my overflow. I made that forever ago. It's solid mounted there. I might get one of their overflows. We'll see. But yeah, so that's where we stand now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that on off, put the old one back on, get everything buttoned back up. And we're going to make this thing run, hopefully this weekend, if everything goes right. I got a lot going on, so I only get bits and pieces, especially with a almost 1-year-old here coming up in a couple weeks. But yeah, let me get after it, and hopefully we'll get it all together and we'll fire it up together. And then I really want to get the thing to a testing tune. I think it's time we put this thing through its paces, especially with that new Gen 2 7675 that we put on it. So I'm going to get after it. See you guys in a little bit. Hey, just for you guys, I thought we'd do a side-by-side comparison before I put the thing back together. So like I said, stainless steel headers. Let me show you. You can kind of see their sticker on there. It says stainless steel headers. You can find their website. So that's who made this one right here. I supplied them the Vibrant V-band. Is pretty much it. Everything else was from them. 3-inch transition. That's TTI in Washington State. 2-inch transition. Granted, I had to fix that for a while, and it did last for a long time. That is actually, here's what you got to be wary from. If you get one of these from TTI, they come with a really chintzy V-band on the bottom, which I swapped out forever ago, so I have a better one. Also, the flange they made is just some kind of like homemade thing, which I swapped out with a really nice billet piece of mine. So it's gonna look, if you get one from them, it's gonna look different. Granted, these two parts. Another thing I like is if you look at the stainless steel header, let me flip it around. It's actually welded on the inside, which the TTI was not. So you can see it, you can kind of tell it was never welded from the inside. I like this one because it's welded inside and out. And that's actually, I like that transition too, a little bit more smooth. So my recommendations were for about the same price. I go to this place, that stainless steel header. He had to make kind of a jig to make mine. If you are really serious about wanting one of these, we could always, like I said, I'll have an extra. We could always send mine back to him to get him to make more. The guy's name was Tyler. Just hit me up in the comments. You're a buddy. Like I said, it's not cheap. You're gonna pay $1,300, but it just depends on what you want to do. But that's always an option. So keep me in mind. Just one of the reasons why you guys help me out. Like, subscribe, share my stuff. Let's get the channel blown up. we are so close from hitting 1,000, which is awesome. Like, I'm excited right now. As of right now, at this point in time, we're like 905, 906. But yeah, share this stuff. Let's, if you're a Dakota guy or a Mopar guy or a turbo guy or whatever, hit me up. I like to see what you guys are working on. And I scour YouTube. I watch a bunch of stuff on YouTube as well. So anyway, let me get swapping this thing out, and we'll be back. All right, multiple days later. Old girl's back together. I just got to put the upper intercooler pipe on. So it went together pretty good. Switched my valve cover back, all this up. I did get a new turbo blanket. I'm going to tell you guys, the quality of this blanket right here is absolutely amazing. A buddy of mine had one, and the original one I had was like that DEI, whatever, wherever it's at, this thing. And old girl is about worn out. So this is going in the trash. So that's done, and I think we're gonna fire it. I moved the upper radiator hose around a little bit, trimmed it, moved it, so I gotta put coolant back in it. But just turn the battery power on. Fire this bad boy up. Hopefully you guys can hear me. You hear the fuel pressure. Wow, sounds really good. All right, I forgot I actually have a vacuum leak. That's for the blow-off valve. All right. Good, sounds really good. Okay, we can work with that. I'll put that upper intercooler pipe in. I said I gotta fill the radiator back up. Yeah, just looking at stuff. There's a lot going on underneath this bad boy. Oh, one last thing I'm gonna do. So at some point in time, see a zip tie here? Be wary of this, you guys. I've had this MSD box for a while. One way or another, I messed up the pins inside here. The female, this blue thing's actually locks. It locks the female pins in. But somehow I managed to push one of the pins into the box. Had to drill the spot roots out. Was able to fix it. But I actually got a new harness for it, which is in this box. So I'm gonna replace that harness, and I'm also gonna do something else, which it hasn't caused me any issues over the year. But in the MSD instructions, just like Holly, it says to run the power and ground directly to the battery. What hasn't been for years, it's been grounded here, and I've been pulling power right from the box, and I'm just going to change it. I've got like 20 feet of 10 gauge wire, so I'll put the new connector on. I'm going to have to run wire all the way back. That's the downfall of relocating your battery, but I'm going to have to run that stuff all the way back. And then that's it. So I'm really hoping at this point, it's time to hit a testing tune. I haven't hit any testing tunes for a while. Like I did say before, if this manifold leaks, we're going to have to just go ahead and put the new one on. But I'm going to see how long. Who knows? It might last me the rest of the season. We'll see. But let me take care of this MSD box. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the next video you guys see is test and tune. I also might put my GoPro in it. Maybe we'll go out for a ride one day. So I don't think I've really done that with you guys. But again, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Sorry the videos are so slow. Life happens, but don't worry, the truck's still around. And yeah, stay tuned. See ya.